Shadowland. They've got fire, they've got style, they make chaos look worthwhile. Partners in crime, heartbeats aligned, together they're one of a kind. They're the couple that slays together, storming the world, it's now or never. Back to back, through thick and thin, in the game of life they always win. Blazing trails, leaving legends behind. Love so fierce, it's one of a kind. We're the couple that slays together. Oh.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Couple That Slays Together. I'm Katie.
Hey, and I'm Brandon. Well, gosh, Katie, this is our 7th interview.
It's our 7th interview, and this actor is from Scream 7.
So we're really excited. We got this opportunity. I got to meet Kraig Dane, who plays Karl Gibbs in Scream 7, the first killer revealed in the film. Really nice guy. Met him at Horror
Amazing
Hound.
interview.
Yeah, amazing interview. Met him at Horror Hound. Really nice guy. I got to design some art for him, and he's like, "Do you want anything with this?" I'm like, "No, man, just come on our podcast." So he agreed to come and do an interview with us in our celebration for the Scream 7 digital release. We're gonna put that with this. We're gonna put the interview with that release, and we're excited to get that to you. So, gosh, why don't we just get into it, Katie?
Yeah, I found him to be, an amazing interviewee, really down to earth, and I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, without any further ado, here's Kraig Dane.
So, how's it going, man? How's your weekend going and everything?
It's been fantastic. On between gigs, I'm still at a point in my life where I work at a restaurant as a bartender. You know, as many actors do in this day and age.
Of course.
But it's been good. It's been good.
Yeah.
Did you get recognized since the movie came out while you
Uh,
were bartending?
and then I've had a few other gigs, and then I have a few regulars who have spotted me, and then they, yeah, they'll tell their friends and whatnot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's fun.
Yeah. So, our first question for you: can you tell us about where you're from and like how you got into acting?
Yeah, so I am from Iowa, born and raised, a little town, very tiny town, 1,000 people, just outside Des Moines. I caught the acting bug in 6th grade. We did a play, I forget which one it was. And I loved rehearsal. I thought it was just some of the most fun I have ever had in my entire life, because people were just saying, "Oh, just go mess around." And so I did that, and it was amazing. However, the night of the show, I lost my voice,
Oh, wow.
because I was just terrified. Stage fright just crippled me. And so, uh, I think it was the following Monday, because the show was like on a Friday night. Uh, well, not the following Monday, probably like a week later, because they had to get awards for everybody. And oh, my award was the Croakiest Throat Award. They thought that was funny.
Oh,
Wow.
And everybody in the room laughed, including the teacher. Um, and that was the worst feeling one of the worst feelings I've ever experienced. And from then on, I was like, nope, not gonna do that. I remember in high school watching people rehearse for the plays in high school, and I wanted to be on that stage and just doing it. And I just remembered everything from 6th grade, so I didn't.
mhm.
Yeah.
And then years later, so that was in like 2001, 2002-ish. And a few years later, I saw Heath Ledger as the Joker in The Dark Knight, and I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And it was such a amazing performance and role. That was the first movie I ever saw twice in theaters.
Yeah.
And if I said, you know what? Wait, can I swear?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're all uncensored.
Sweet. I said, fuck it. And I, a few years after that, I sold a lot of my possessions, including my first Jeep. I'm a Jeep fan at heart. I love doors off, top down. That's my happy place. And I moved out to LA with a few friends and just decided to give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you on a Jeep. I drive a Jeep. I love it. And it's not the kind that you can take the doors off and everything, but I love my Jeep.
I mean, it is my favorite place to be. A soft top, 2-door manual was my first, and then I had a 4-door manual, also soft top. I won't go hard, because right now I don't have a garage. So, and also I want to be able to just take the top off whenever I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we also noticed that your first film credit was Fortnite back in 2010. Can you tell us how that experience was, and what was some of those first auditions out in LA? How'd that go?
So actually, Fortnite was in Iowa.
Oh,
It was. I took a few classes. I took one class in Iowa for like 6 months before I eventually moved out to LA. And this no budget thing was coming through town, and I auditioned and I got it, and that was cool because that was my first ever experience working on any sort of film. Um, I don't remember how the audition really went, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to be a part of a film, and I got recognized uh, after that premiered. I was at a bar, um, and this other guy came up to me, and he's like, "I just saw a movie you're in," and I panicked and I ran away from the guy.
I feel like I'd have the same reaction. I think I'd do the same thing.
Yeah.
It was very startling. It was very startling at the time.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I'm a sucker for a good disaster movie. I watch Twister every spring. I watch Day After Tomorrow, usually the first snowfall. Of course, we're in Indiana, and you probably get a little bit of the same type of weather where you're at. Like, I know you're not in LA or Iowa, but it's funny because it's like right now it's like, what do I watch? Do I watch Day After Tomorrow because it's going to snow again tomorrow, or do I watch Twister because there's gonna be a tornado on Thursday? But you were in a film in 2013 called Disaster Wars: Earthquake versus Tsunami. Like I said, I'm a sucker for these types of movies, dude. I will watch these in their full glory and just think they're awesome.
With a big grin on his face.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm like, yeah, I love disaster movies. What was that shoot like? How much of the shoot was practical versus digital? Probably more digital, but and how was working with Priscilla Barnes?
So I actually didn't get. Man, I don't remember that specific shoot. I don't know if I worked with her. It was only a couple of days for me. I actually crashed that audition.
Oh, really?
I was going to a director's workshop, um, and then I got to the theater early. I have a thing about time. I show up early everywhere I go, and they were holding auditions for this movie, and I was like, you know what? Can I audition? And they're like, yeah, come on in, and I got it.
Wow.
I had zero idea what I was auditioning for or anything about the project. So that was one of my first experiences of crashing an audition, and it went well. But it was also, yeah, not a lot of practical effects. We can't really make an earthquake or a tsunami
Yeah.
safely.
Yeah.
Out in Los Angeles, not great.
Well, we're both big fans of This Is Us, and you play the fireman that actually brought Randall to the hospital, essentially giving Randall the family he grew up with. When you look back at that series, how does that make you feel knowing that your guest role was so crucial to his story? And then we were also curious if you ever got to work with the grown-up adult kids and Milo and Mandy and how that all went.
Uh, so I didn't get to work with I saw Mandy that day. I didn't get to work with any of them because, as you just said, we're in in the past when they're all kids. Um, but that experience was fantastic. Um, that was my second major credit, and uh, I still felt very green with everything, but everybody's I have been very fortunate in the sets I have been on have been very welcoming and kind. So that's been very beneficial.
That's great. Uh, so I guess on that subject, you've had guest roles on several big television series like Outer Banks, Criminal Minds, NCIS New Orleans, and Ozark. Which of those were your favorite to appear on, and do you have any fun stories from those appearances? Like anybody that you got to work with, especially?
So I also did it was a Law and Order SVU,
Yes.
and that was the first time I got to shoot in New York. And I had been to New York only one other time before that, and I love that city. That city's so damn cool.
Absolutely.
Um, there's just this energy about it, and I love it up there. Um, but I would say the best thus far has been Outer Banks. I got to spend 3 weeks in Barbados, which that doesn't suck.
No, it doesn't.
But I also met some of my dearest friends, uh, like Andy McQueen. He played Sang. He was the kind of the big bad throughout that season, and then Charles Hartford. Um, he played John B's dad in that, and meeting those two, and then Andy's now wife Glenda. Man, those three helped make that journey and that trip and that time in Barbados just magical. And I got to meet Andy's dad, which was really cool. He was super fun.
That's awesome.
And then everybody on that shoot was so again just so damn nice. And there were like the kids in the show, the leads, like they're very welcoming and extremely fun and funny, and you get to improv and you just get to fuck around a lot.
Yeah.
And Jonas, the director, he allowed for so much play and so much time to play that you just kind of fell into it, and
Sure.
it was great.
Yeah.
Before we get into specifically Scream 7, but you were also part of the miniseries The Underground Railroad. How was that working on set, and was it difficult when it's an extremely, or sorry, let me rephrase that. Was it difficult filming something that is a period piece? Is there anything that's different about the set and how things are done?
And did you get to work with Aaron Pierre and Joel Edgerton?
So I got to work with Joel. I worked directly with him and Tuso and uh, Chase. I got to work with those three. I didn't get to work with Aaron. He wasn't part of um, the scenes I was in. Um, Working with Harrier Jenkins, he is phenomenal at his job. Um, so that's another. It's a kind of another situation where it can be easily construed as like, well, this isn't great for me as an actor because it's not going to give me the footage I'm looking for. It's not going to give me this or that. Um, because like the way he shot it, it's not about me. And it was actually I really appreciated it
Yeah.
looking back on it because the way he did like a particular scene around a fire, it's all done from Tuso's perspective because that's who we are in the show.
Yeah.
He wants to be with her. This is her perspective. It's her watching it. He didn't need the other stuff. And I really appreciated that. as a storyteller because no, let's remove the ego, let's remove everything. It's not about me, it's about the overall
Mhm.
thing. Um, and I really appreciated that. Joel was super, super nice. There was one part in the show where Tuso runs back to a burning house, and man, I wasn't ready for it. And she ran through me. She ran through me. I almost took me out. It was amazing.
Wow.
And then we were out in Stone Mountain, and I rolled my ankle down the mountain. And it's kind of those one of those things that I regret now because it threw me so off. And it also speaks to still being a little green at that time. Um, because I didn't use it in my character, but looking back on it, if I would have been able to stay in and just use me fucking up my ankle, it could have been just magic.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Um, that'd have been cool.
Yeah. Well, getting into Scream 7, we did enjoy the film quite a
Yeah.
bit. You play Karl Gibbs, one of the 3 Ghostface killers. How is that audition process for you? How did it come about for you? And did you know when you auditioned that you were going to be playing one of the killers in this film right away? Because I know some people do and some people don't when they do these. So I'm just curious how that came to you.
Uh, so when I got the audition, it's from this wonderful casting company down here, Finn Cannons with Kim Whitstead and Lisa May. They reached out to the team and was like, "Hey, does Craig want to audition for this thing? There's no lines, but we want to see if he's interested." And because these two ladies know me, I was like, "Okay, well, this is for a reason, so yeah, let's do it." Um, and so the scene for the audition is the coffee shop scene, but in the audition, they wanted you to pretend that you spilled a cup of coffee on your hand.
Yeah.
In real world, if I spill coffee on my hand, I'm gonna scream and pitch a fit and be a little girl about it. Um, or a little boy, both.
Yeah, I get
Uh,
it.
and but in the audition, I decided that, you know what? What if this turned me on? And I enjoyed the pain and I got into it. And I found out when I went to set that they really liked that just, I don't know, weirdness. And I guess it stood out. And they liked the audition a lot that way.
Wow.
And then I go to the fitting and I put the coffee shop outfit on and it gets approved. And they're like, okay, great. Now we're going to put on the mask. And I just kind of looked at them and I was like, what? Oh, and they looked at each other like, you don't know.
Wow.
And I said, what don't I know? And they're like, you're one of the ghost face. And
Wow.
I went, okay. Okay. Okay.
I think Scott Oley had a very similar answer in an interview where he was passed by a conversation and they were like, "Oh, you don't know?" And he's like, "I don't know what." And they're like, "You're it." And he's just like, "Oh, okay." He hadn't seen like the final scene or anything for him. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It, it was very surreal. And you try it on because they want to see what it looks like on you and take a few photos. And I remember I put the thing on for the first time. I was like, is this actually happening? All right.
Did you start hearing Red Right Hand like, playing in?
Well, so funny thing, I watched that movie. I watched the original 2 days before the seventh one came out, just to relive it. And I did not remember that Red Right Hand was in the original.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because over the last like year and a half, I just started playing that song again, and people told me, "Oh, it's the Pinky Blinders song,"
Mhm.
and I never really thought of it. And then I watched the OG again. I was like, "Holy shit, this song's a lot older than I thought it was."
Yeah.
So, with that, when you found out that you got the role, obviously you didn't know you were Ghostface yet, but when you found out that you were going to be in the franchise, did you go back and rewatch any movies? Had you already seen all of them already?
So I rewatched the first. Um, Man, that entire first scene, I didn't take my hand off the damn remote. It still gives me anxiety. Uh,
Yes.
I love the way it's done. Um, Even though you know what happens because you've seen it before. It's like, and I think that speaks to, I mean, obviously Wes Craven's ability to direct. He's very good at that, or was, RFE.
Yeah.
And Kevin's writing. And because I knew bits and pieces of what was going to happen in the seventh one, when I went and saw it, I was very surprised because I was still like wondering how things were going to go. And I think that speaks to Kevin's ability to direct and again, write. And I haven't seen the others. I think I saw the second, maybe the third, but being scared, not great for me.
Yeah.
I like it's not a it's not something I enjoy. I love watching people get scared.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I don't want it done to me.
Totally get it.
Well, and I think there's a lot of the stigma too of where if you're a part of this big long franchise, like I work in the Comic Con business, we met at the con. I've worked with a lot of Power Rangers actors. There's different seasons for different actors, and it's like they expect the actors from like a Power Ranger season to have watched all of it and to know it. And it's like
It's
if you're not
impossible.
right, if you're not a fan of it, then you're obviously not going to watch it. So it's like I understand, maybe watching it for this role, but it might not necessarily be something you're a fan of all the time, like a Halloween or a Friday the 13th or such.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. But I am curious. In previous films, it was a bit more obvious, and we talked about this a little bit when we met at the con. It was a little bit more obvious who killed who in each scenario, but in Seven, it's a bit of a gray area. We know that your character kills at least 3 women back in the early 2000s, but but what kills do you think were yours and that Carl made in Scream 7 as Ghostface? I'm just, if any.
I I personally believe, and I could be very wrong, but I personally believe uh, the whole house is me
Okay.
in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I burn that motherfucker down.
Yeah.
I could be very wrong.
Yeah.
It's a strong possibility I'm very wrong.
Sure.
Funny tidbit, I never got a script, so I don't actually know.
Yeah.
Because it was very secretive, everything, which fully understandable. And so I think I don't know if you were at the panel at the con, but Ethan said a lot of his stuff, he didn't get the full script either
Yeah.
until on the day he was doing this stuff.
Sure. Well, and
Um,
as a killer, were you like waiting for the script? Because it's like, well, if I'm a killer, I might have a monologue or whatever. Like, was that something you were expecting to get?
no, based on how the audition went, because it was already uh told to me that I wasn't gonna have lines. Um,
Mhm.
so it actually removed a lot of any sort of like anxiety towards, okay, I gotta memorize, feel, do this. Um, and so that was that helped settle a few nerves. Just showing up and getting to shoot the shit with everybody, and then just kind of like you fall into it, as especially with Kevin, because he would just kind of give you a little something. It's like, go, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
So, with that too, if it was Carl or Jessica or Marco, do you think, or why do you think any one of those three would have burned down Stu Macher's house? Like just to say that they were the ones that did it, or do you think there's anything deeper?
So, ooh, that's a hell of a question. Uh,
It's something I've wondered since the beginning. I'm like, of those 3, whoever that was, why Stu's house when they don't live close to there anymore?
Right.
We just been curious.
I mean, that's a very intriguing question. That might be a question for Kevin because I personally can't answer that if I had to venture any sort of like guesstimate, which I'm probably very wrong. Um, when you want to burn down the past
Mhm.
Yeah.
and make people suffer, uh, I mean, plus it can also send a message that hey, I'm coming for you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, in this film, we don't get to see much from the killers outside of their suits and like the end, and your scene, obviously. Were there more scenes that were cut that had more of you in it, and were you bummed that you were only in 2 scenes in the final cut?
So the coffee scene was a little longer. We shot a little bit more to that. Um, but that kind of goes back to what I was saying about Barry. If it doesn't fit the story and what you're trying to tell, because that's the important part. And so, I mean, obviously, in the cutting room, um, the editor and Kevin and maybe even Nev as a producer, just going through like, okay, no, we can't have this in there because it's gonna tell something different that we're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Right, right. Your biggest on-screen moment is actually when you were unmasked after being taken out by Gale. And FYI, we let people know we're full spoilers here.
Yeah.
You better have seen it if you want to listen. So don't worry about that. But you're taken out by Gale, Chad, Mindy. How did you prepare for a scene where you can't rely on dialogue at all? And was there any direction given to you about what your face should communicate in that moment, even in your death?
Nah, um, they so the because we did it a few times. The first reveal, I just went with the eyes opened and just as dead as you can be. Um, and apparently Kevin liked it, and so he just kind of said, "Nice, let's." And then he would just kind of change angles, and the guys would run their dialogue over the shot, and he just kind of let me do my thing, which I have found in this wonderful industry that if nobody says anything, just keep doing what you're doing because they like it because they have a lot of other shit going on.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned, if it wasn't a part of the story, then it wasn't meant to be there. But I'm just curious, do you feel like you got a little robbed by not being able to have that big villain monologue? Or do you feel like dying mid-reveal was more iconic? And I'm also curious, what do you think Carl's motive would have been had there been one? Well, more one that was clear.
Um, well, I actually had somebody ask me that at the con, like, what was your motive?
Mhm.
And I think if you consider Carl and the fact that he had already killed 3 other people, some people don't need a lot of motive to go kill somebody. And so if you're influenced at all by someone you look up to, or even as we find out later, the Ethan's character in the film, um, just a little nudge, not to mention releasing me and helping me escape.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, yeah, point me at that chick. Cool.
Mhm.
And so I think especially, I mean, we never know what's going through anybody's mind, but anybody who's willing to take a life might not need a lot of motivation for any
Right.
particular individual.
Yeah. And I mean, even in fictional motives, I mean, the strangers, it was just because they were home.
I was thinking that too. Yeah, when they're like, "Why are you doing this?" They're like, "'Cause you're home."
Right. Or,
Yeah.
see stuff in The Purge like I just wanted to,
Yeah.
like, and so I completely get it. Joy is definitely part of, I think, a psyche, the psyche for a mass murderer or even a murderer at all. So I completely get that.
We were bouncing ideas off of each other, and we thought maybe, just maybe, Carl and Marco, or Carl or Marco, may have had a love interest in Jessica and was like, hey, she wants revenge on her. I like to kill people. I'm going to do it. And I just didn't know if that was kind of the thought process behind, maybe that was a subtle situation.
I mean, that can always be a huge motivator for somebody, especially if I'm like, if I do this for you, that means you'll love me. Absolutely.
Or get me out of the institution that you were just in. She gets me out. I'll go, kill somebody else. It's what I want to do anyway, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if I can do that for somebody who I'm very interested in romantically, game on.
Right, right.
Yep. Well, so behind the scenes, obviously you shot that scene there. Nev Campbell, Isabel May, Joel McHale, Courtney Cox, Jasmine Solway Brown, Mason Gooding. How were your interactions with them? Did you get to talk to them much? And did you get to meet the rest of the cast at all? Like, what was that environment like for you?
It was so damn welcoming. Because obviously I show up. I think it was Joel's first day too.
Okay.
It might have been. I don't remember. That motherfucker, he's ripped.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. And he was so nice, and we shot the shit for a good while. I love talking to him.
Yeah.
And then right when I walk on, Nev is so welcoming, and then Courtney was as well. And then I shot the shit with Mason for a little bit. Isabella, um, we didn't get to interact nearly as much because she had a lot going on that day. So she was always out working. And then when it was time for me, that was the only time she wasn't being used. So we overlapped or crisscrossed a lot.
Yeah.
And then the entire crew they were just so damn nice and welcoming. And I was really appreciative of that because I didn't have lines. I didn't have a lot going on. Yes, I got to be part of this fantastic franchise and am one of the iconic figures of it. And they were man, they were so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful for it.
Well, that leads me right into my next question for you is that there's been 16 Ghostface killers now throughout the franchise. And how does that feel being one of the 16?
It's a I think it's still a little surreal.
Yeah.
One of my her name's Regina. She was I think they call it a handler at the con.
Yeah.
She added it up, and then a friend of mine texted me a little clip. It said I was Ghostface number 13, which in this realm of world in the horror franchise, lucky 13. And so that was cool. It would if I am number 13, I mean I like having that number associated to this as well.
Yeah.
Because it's just an added level of horror incentive in Friday the 13th. But to be part of one of the 16 only people to wear this mask and be in this franchise as part of this world, I still think it's a little bit surreal.
Yeah. I think the reason why there's like kind of like about number is because there are people that count Tony Revolori's Ghostface and whether or not he counts, because it's a similar situation to yours. In the sixth one, he is revealed to be the killer in the beginning. And like he puts on the suit, makes the phone call, he's meeting up with Samara Weaving, but then gets killed by another killer. It's like, nah, you're not the killer, I'm the killer. So
It's one of those, like, what are the rules?
Right.
To sound like Mindy,
yeah.
Like,
So
what's the rule here? They're in costume, they've killed someone. I consider them a ghost face.
right. So it's like that's probably why they said 13 for you and not 14, because it's kind of a gray area on whether or not he's counted. We count him, but
They even go back and forth about Nev and Sydney in the first one because she puts on the costume
Yeah.
when she attacks or attacks back Billy and such. So then, ooh, is she one then technically?
Same with Melissa Barrera.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So it depends on who you ask and what their rules for the franchise.
Yep.
And see, that's what's funny. That debate started at the con too, and they just started. No, no. If you gotta count this guy. Well, then what else counts? And it was kind of entertaining just to watch people just start to go back and forth about it. So I would agree. It depends who you ask.
Right. Well, and even not that I obviously I'm enjoying talking to you. I enjoyed meeting you and everything, and hope to see you again in person. But at the beginning, when we first saw it, I'm like, does Carl count? Because I mean, did he kill somebody as Ghostface? But
Because we weren't sure because there's the cat and mouse that goes on through the house.
right,
And technically in that scene, we know that you're the ghost face that gets hit and dies, but did he do any of the actual killing beforehand?
right.
Or was he just in the house with them? So, yeah.
But I'm with you now. Like I would count the house, like the Smocker
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm leaning on. Uh, I plus then I can say, oh yeah, that was me walking away from the burning building.
Yeah.
What's up?
Right.
That shot is so damn cool.
It
It,
is. It is very cool. I've never seen a film in the Dolby Digital, and that was the first film that we saw with that, and it literally like whooshed like down the row. Like you could like it was so cool when that went up in flames.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so cool.
So we've been talking about this convention. You recently just appeared at your first convention as a guest at Horror Hound in Cincinnati, a favorite of ours. I go often. You went for their spring 2026 convention. What was it like interacting with the horror fans? And what was your favorite interaction with a fan? Did you have any odd interactions and receive any fun and meaningful gifts? How was your entire experience?
That was phenomenal. I honestly when so Sean Clark, he's my agent for the live stuff.
Yeah.
He hit me up after the film was released, and there's a few other people, but him and I chatted, and he's the dude
Yep.
for especially for the Scream franchise.
Absolutely.
And he's like, I wanna get you in. I was like, and he said, I can get you into Cincinnati. I was like, okay, you know what? I've never been to Cincinnati. Why not? Let's see what this is about. Um, and honestly, I thought I was just gonna go hang out and kind of just sit there and twiddle my thumbs and just chill. Man, I was in the best of ways.
Mhm.
People were so damn cool. Um, and because, I had seen the movie, I knew how short this little clip was. I was like, it's not gonna, but because you are one of the guys in the mask, it just like, no, you're part of this world. And
Mhm.
I met Skeet there, I met Matthew and David and Jamie, and then I got to meet Ethan for the first time because we didn't work the same days.
Yep.
Man, they were so damn welcoming to the family, essentially, because hey, you're one of us now, and it was so cool. Um, and then all the fans, and there's this one. His name was Michael. I forget how old he was, but he was a kid, and he was so nervous. Um, he wanted an autograph, and so he walked up, and I just kind of shot the shit with him for a little bit. And I was like, "What's your name?" He's like, "My name's Michael." I was like, "You know what, Michael? I'm gonna give you a different autograph." And I wrote my full name, which was Kraig Michael Dane, and because my middle name was his name,
Yeah.
it really, man, he just lit up, and I felt so good about it. It was so cool. Um, and he's gonna be the only one that gets that. So that'll be fun, hopefully for him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
I
awesome.
like it.
that is awesome. And again, I don't really work with them too much anymore, but I do still seldomly. But again, talking about the Power Rangers franchise, I worked with a lot of those actors. you know, getting a lot of them out to the cons, some of them have like, well, I only was in one episode for 4 seconds or 3 seconds. And it's like, it doesn't matter. The saying is
Mm,
once a ranger, always a ranger. And it's like,
mm.
people love that. I feel like it's the same with like Ghostface and horror. It's like, once you've been that role,
There's a lot of collectors that want to collect them all,
right.
like, and it's accepting, and it's, I got, got it on the mask. I
Yeah.
want the next one on the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, and that's it. That's what people were trying to explain to me. I was like, all right, let's see what happens. And then you are spot on. Like you're one of going back to one of 16,
Yeah.
and they want that signature because you collect them all, and it's very cool. It's very very cool, and I feel very honored uh to be there. And then like the thing you made, that shit was fire.
Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And it's funny because that design is like, when I look at it now, I'm like, I don't know if I went back and told my younger self, "Hey, do that for," because I do a that for like the killers, and then for the victims or final girls or whatever, I put like the killer behind them, kind of like that shot of Jamie Lee Curtis with Michael Myers, or like Heather Langenkamp with Freddy
Mhm.
Krueger. I kind of just jocked off of that, but yeah, I appreciate you saying that because there have been people that really like that design, and it's been something that's kind of a staple of mine as an artist. So I really appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I have you guys individually on your prints there, and then the mask here, I've got all the killers on, so that's really cool. I'm only missing 4, so out of 16.
Well, you seem to have done a lot of work in a lot of different genres. And I know you said earlier, like, you don't like being scared, but you like seeing other people scared. Do you like working in horror and being like a horror actor? Or do you have like maybe another genre you prefer to work in?
Yeah.
Um, because of I still feel like I'm growing as an actor and trying to elevate myself. A lot of times I'll, you know what, whatever auditions come my way, if I can get the job, fantastic.
Right.
I love comedy. It's so much fun. It is extremely difficult.
Yep.
Um, depending on the writing, but there's some writing out there that's just it'll flow out of you. Um, I like playing the bad guys. I enjoy mostly I mostly enjoy, like, the baddies who are kind of fuck ups
Yep.
because I am given a lot of wiggle room to just really play. Like, for instance, Jimmy Portis on Outer Banks, who's somebody at the convention, that's what she knew me from.
Oh, well.
She hadn't seen the movie yet, which was cool.
Yeah.
Um, he he's a fuck around and find out kinda guy,
Yeah.
and I really like that. Um But at the same time, something I want to do in the future very much is I wanna play a heartfelt dad.
Okay.
I I wanna experience the full range of emotions. I wanna play somebody, who's also gay. And in this day and age, I would never wanna take away from somebody role who is living that lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I personally believe that acting allows us to explore different parts of ourselves in a safe and wonderful environment. Like, especially like when you consider like horror movies. We don't want to go out and actually kill people, but if you can put that hat on and experience all that kind of like emotions and all of those mentalities, it can give your darker side of yourself, which we all have,
Mhm.
a nice little reprieve and a nice little play. And it's like, oh, I can use the darker side of myself. I can use this lighter side of myself. I I can't sing or dance,
Mhm.
but if somebody said, "Hey, I want you to sing and dance for this role. We're gonna teach you and we're gonna do it up," be like, game on.
Mhm.
Let's go.
Yeah. And it's interesting because looking at you, I can see, like your facial structure, your hairline, with the length of your hair, the facial hair. I could see you being like an inspirational like coach dad type of person, like someone who might have been like a 70s into 70s rock and drives a truck and like that farm, country, like northern
Or
era.
just loves his husband.
Well, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Friday Night Lights or
We're
whatever,
making a character for you.
but also I can still see you the way you speak, and again, like, and I'm not saying you look bad at all, but I could also still see you as being like in like a thriller or something, like being
Mm.
a killer that speaks and has a motive and gets pissed off, and like, or is like an abusive husband. And again, not trying to say you look like
I
that,
like
but
that Heath Ledger character he was talking
exactly
about, like that psychotic,
right.
like, I don't need to have a motive, but my motive is
Yeah.
that I'm crazy.
Right. And I think the common denominator for you is you look like someone who could play a person in power, whether that's a killer or a strong, inspirational dad. So I just want to say that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So we've got 5 wrap-up questions here for you. Again, told you it wasn't 3 hours. But we've got 5 wrap-up questions for you. They're just kind of on the personal side. So if there's something you don't want to answer, we can always take it out. But our first question is, when you're not acting or doing a con, what does a day in the life look like for Kraig? At the end of the day, just you're at the beginning of the day, you're getting ready for your day. What does that look like?
Oh, so um, I start my mornings pretty much the exact same way. A little bit of stretching, uh, not like a full yoga flow. That's at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Um, and then I start with my Wordle and my
Mm.
connections and my strands. It's like mind games. I forget. It's to try to kind of wake up the brain.
Yep.
Mhm.
Um, Coffee, and I love watching the sunrise. If I can catch a good sunrise with a cup of coffee, I'm in a phenomenal place. And then, depending on like if I'm on a shoot or if I'm in between gigs, I'll either be running lines, working lines, reading script, or like I sometimes I'll go to I think I said the bar that I work at between gigs just to because the bills don't stop. They don't give a shit.
Right.
Um, and then after towards the end of the day, towards my wind down days, that's when I do a longer yoga flow or after work yoga flow just to recenter, reground. And then to end my days, I'm either watching Friends, Frasier, or currently I'm back on How I Met Your Mother because I just finished Frasier. I like my comfort shows.
That's
That
Do the
is.
same thing. We rotate our sitcoms that we've seen.
Yeah, that's funny. We right now we're in Parks and Rec and that 70 show,
Yep.
and then but yeah, like How I Met Your Mother, I've been considering rewatching again because they've got the How I Made Your Mother podcast, that you can watch along with and listen to. So I don't.
And he's got me watching through Buffy for the first time. I never really watched
Yeah.
Buffy like when it was out. So then there's certain times where I'm like, that sounds like Lily.
Yeah.
She's got the Lily attitude. We got to go back to How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
So one thing that I love to ask, and you've experienced it firsthand being at the convention, but the horror genre, whether that's film, books, TVs, anything like that, there's a plethora of fandom that are all different walks of life, ages, races, creeds, denominations, you name it. We're all different, but we all love our horror. And I'm just curious, why do you think horror speaks to so many of us as human beings?
Ooh. Uh, Personally, I think it's because that little adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Because getting scared, people some people just thrive on it and they love it. Um, or some people like me, I don't like it. Um, it's it, at the end of the day, and you could also like if that's what your parents were into, and then that's what you did together, and then you just kind of grow into it, and then you pass that on to your kids. And I think that's what's great about this movie because when the first one, the OG, came out, I was right around, I think, a sophomore or a freshman in high school. So I was their age. And now, if if I had had kids at the typical time, which was like what, mid-20s ish, at least when I was growing up, that was the time to do it. Your kids would now be the high schoolers. So the fact that they did that for this movie, you could take your kids who are now very into the Scream movies
Yeah.
as your parent and be like, oh, yo, this is something we're doing together. And it fits right in line with the movie and the storyline.
Absolutely. So people come to you at the convention. Obviously, you said your first one. I see you're scheduled for a few more. They say things like, I love Scream, or I love Outer Banks. Like you said, I'm a massive fan. What is it that you're a massive fan of? At the end of the day, if, your partner's taken care of, your kids are taken care of, your family's taken care of, at the end of the day, it's Kraig time, right? What is it that makes you want an autograph or want you to collect something or you see a show? Like, what is it that you're a massive fan of?
Uh, I am a massive, actually, that speaks. So I gotta show you this.
Okay.
So this was actually given to me on, uh, at well, not at the convention. I met this wonderful gentleman named Greg at the con. Well, outside of the con. Him and I just started shooting the shit, and he made those. And I love mandalas. I love sacred geometry. That's what I have. One of my tattoos is very sacred geometry. Um, and I love when people make art.
Yeah.
Like, and I think art in itself, when it speaks to you, and it can be debated and talked about, like, if you made it and it speaks to me, I I I want that. I love charcoal drawings. I love to do that myself. That's a nice release for me. Music. Oh my God, if you're a good singer, I envy you. Oh, or if you can play the keys, I love the keyboard.
Yeah.
As far as autographs, I don't think I've ever had anybody sign anything except like on this weekend. I got a photo with the OG guys, and I went around and had them all sign it because like, now that I'm a part of this, I'm like, I want that. I want it.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Now, my next question, it can kind of sound like it's coming out of left field, but we've talked about it on previous episodes, and um, we have different of opinions, but we respect each other's opinions. And again, you don't have to answer in any way, shape, or form, but what are your views on paranormal? And when I say paranormal, I mean like true paranormal, like ghost entity interactions, but also paranormal in like alien and celestial,
The unknown.
the unknown, the X-Files of it all.
yeah. So to answer that, the second part first,
Mhm.
um, you know, my personal belief, if you look up into the sky at night and see all those fucking stars and think that we the only things here, I I don't like.
Yeah.
There's way too many things up there. Like,
Math ain't math, and as I like to say, right?
I personally think that the universe is way too fucking big for us to be the only little specks living here. For paranormal, yo, I will not. When Paranormal Activity dropped, I saw the trailer and I shut that shit off. Yeah, because I grew up in a house that was like 110 years old.
Oh yeah.
It creaked and cracked and moaned and groaned, and I swear to whatever you believe in, that in the dark there was something watching me all the time. So yeah, nah,
Mm.
pass. If anybody wanted me to ever be a part of that shit, be like, nah, bro, no, uh, 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 uh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of, She's more on the paranormal side of things. I'm more of a paranormal agnostic. I'm exactly like you with the alien stuff. We're
Mhm.
way too, there's too much universe for us to be alone. It's just one
Mhm.
of those things where it's like I'm not going to spend my time worrying about it, but
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, if it's out there, cool. Is it relevant to me? Not necessarily right now, but it could be. We never know. But yeah, and then again with the paranormal stuff, I'm the same way. I'm just kind of like, I haven't had an experience myself. I'm not going to go looking for it. Sure, I'm a horror fan, but I see the fiction part of it too. So that's not really my jam, I guess. So I
I
feel you on that.
he says he's an agnostic. I give him credit that he respects other people's opinions on it though, because he may not have had his experiences. I have had mine. I can't say if someone else's experience, if they're speaking their truth or if they're making up a tall tale,
Yeah.
but I'm going to respect that I've had mine.
Yeah.
And so we like to ask that because again, all different walks of life and experiences and, you know, you can only see through your own viewpoint.
Right.
And it's interesting to see where people kind of like fall on that scale.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, if more people just in general thought that way,
Hmm.
like if we just all as a society just allowed each other to think the way we want to think,
Yeah.
and we can have disagreements and we don't need to change each other's minds. It's like, hey, I see it this way, you see it that way. And if you can reflect on that and be like, huh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I can see how you see it that way on almost everything in this world,
Right.
you know, I think we might all be a little better off.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Well, and that's where I come from. That's the world I come from. I mean, we both grew up Christians, but like I studied in college. I studied a lot of comparative religion, so like I got to a point where I was like, well, I want to just hear what other people say, and it's
Mhm.
interesting to hear them talk. I might be more of an agnostic with the paranormal stuff, but when it comes to worldview, I always
Mhm.
try to like see from other people's aspects or whatever. So that's actually our last question, and again, no wrong answer. We just like to talk about this and ask where people come from. What are your views on God, religion, and the afterlife? If you feel like answering.
Uh, so I grew up in what we were Methodist,
Yeah.
but the tiny town I grew up in, the thing to do was go to church.
Yeah.
Um,
Youth group.
and I actually, yeah, and I used to, I used to be very religious. I had a friend. I asked her to help me ask God into my life when I was really young.
Yeah.
Um, and I wouldn't say I'm an atheist or a disbeliever or anything like that. I'm more spiritual now.
Sure.
When I think of God, I think more universe.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm of the belief that when someone says God, universe, we all talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We just use a different word.
Right.
However, if you say that to the wrong person, I mean, they'll sacrifice you.
Right.
Um, but that goes back to, hey, I this just my belief. I'm not asking you to believe the way I believe, and I don't want you to ask me to believe the way you believe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, if we gonna get along, great. Like, and if we're not, if it boils down to that, okay, it is what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the things we like to say is that we're a horror review show, but we're not here to judge, and we're here to be respectful of anyone and everyone's opinion. And the only thing we're here to judge is the horror
Yeah.
and whether we liked the horror movie or not. And that's it. And you treat each other with respect and dignity because we're all human beings who deserve respect and dignity. That's how we want to run the show. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all the questions we had for you, man. Wanted to plug too. I know you've got another con coming up. Just wanted to, if there's anything you
You
talk
are.
about.
If there's anyone you plug coming up.
Yeah, cons, appearances, movies, anything you want to talk about.
Let's see. Well, I think it's mid-April. I'm gonna be in Manchester for the Love of Horror.
Yep.
That's gonna be cool. That'll be a convention. And then I come back and I start a new project, but can't talk about that one yet.
Sure.
And then I don't have release dates as of yet, but a couple movies that are in the can awaiting to be released. The Life and Death of Wilson Shedd. Tim Blake Nelson wrote, directed that one. Scoot McNairy is the star along with Amanda Seyfried. Um, Huge fan of that movie. That was a great experience. Um, and then Clean Hands, written and directed by Jake Allen, based around a true story. Um, that's with Esther McGregor and Zach Braff. Those those are two that are coming up. Um, and I hope to see those soon and see how they go. And hope I don't get cut out because you never know.
Right. Yeah.
I could be plugging something that I'm not even in. It's definitely a thing. I was cut from a TV show as well. Um, Thankfully, I knew it beforehand. They reached out and said, "Hey, it has nothing to do with what you did. We're just going for a different storyline."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was appreciative of them saying it beforehand because I don't tell a lot of people that I'm in things until they're out because of that exact situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, dude, thanks so much for doing the show with us, man. I really appreciate it. She really appreciates it, and it's just been fun. So
And you are our 7th interview, and you're in Scream 7. So I think that's pretty fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And thank you. Yeah, this was delightful, y'all. So I appreciate it.
yeah, of course.
All right. So that was Kraig Dane.
Hey, that was a really fun interview.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he really empathetic. Speaking about his past
Mhm.
roles, kind of seems like he had a really good time working on the Underground Railroad miniseries.
Yeah.
Really, just a fun interview to talk to him about.
I still can't get over like thinking about putting myself in his shoes of like getting this role where there's no dialogue and you're thinking it's a minor part
Yeah.
and then being like, oh, here's the Ghostface mask and you need to try it on. And you're like,
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, am I trying it on because of this? Like, if it were me, I feel like if it were me and I got that audition, I'd be like, so am I Ghostface? Am I Ghostface? Am I
Right.
wait? It,
Like
like,
somebody tell me right now.
yeah, because I'll go home and I'll audition as Ghostface for you. So
Right.
no, but yeah, it was really cool.
The entire monologue from Scream 3 at the end, and you would do that as your audition.
Probably, I
That's
have
what I'm
used it
saying.
as a high school audition,
I
so it's
know.
possible.
I
So
am saying it.
right, yeah. Well, again, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us during this. We love the Scream franchise, as we've said. It's
Mhm.
definitely the hub and the
Kickstarter for our obsession.
yeah, it started with Goosebumps and then moved into Scream, and so really just fun. It was really great to be able to interview a Ghostface actor. I'm hoping we get to have some interviews with
Mhm.
more, and it's just really fun to do in the future.
Yeah, and hopefully he'll do some more conventions and such. It sounds like he had a great
Yeah.
first convention at Horror Hounds and
Yeah.
just loved meeting the fans and everything.
Yeah. And especially for the European fans, you guys are gonna get to meet him too in Manchester in a few weeks, so that's awesome.
And he even said that he's got a couple of projects that are in the can that are coming out, but then a couple that he can't even talk about yet. So it sounds like there's going to be even more Kraig Dane.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
awesome.
I'm excited to see where his career goes because he seems like he's a really solid actor. Like I said in the interview, he looks like he could be like inspirational coach, but also
Versatile.
right. But also he could play another killer where he's not a masked villain, but he's like an abusive father or
Yeah.
boyfriend or something. Not saying that he inherently looks like that or does that, but it's like some people have that look, and he's a great actor, so we could see him as that. So
Right.
yeah.
I'm excited to see what he does next as well. We have our review for Scream 7 coming out as well.
Yeah.
Personally, I wanted more from Carl.
I did too.
So it would be very cool to see him in something maybe a similar role, but more involved.
Yeah.
And more of a backstory and such to know.
Yeah. Well, we got to see, it's a prime example. Like Rowan Campbell got that second choice,
Mhm.
second opportunity. Like he played Corey in Halloween Ends.
Mhm.
Not a very liked character, nor was it a very liked movie. But
Mhm.
dude was so nice. And then he also played the new Silent Night, Deadly Night killer, where he was more of a vigilante.
And I
So
love that one. Yeah.
yeah, he did
Yeah.
so good in that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, guys, we're gonna put our socials up right here for you. And as Brandon likes to always say, he's on the Facebook and the Gram and everything. I'm on the TikTok.
Yep.
And then we also have our Gmail, couplethatslays@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So, as always, comment, share, like, subscribe. Any of these things are all free. They cost you nothing, but they help to grow our community.
Yeah, and if you're already watching us on YouTube, thank you so much.
you.
So we appreciate you being subscribed. If you're listening to us on the podcast feeds, wherever you get your podcast, thank you so much for listening.
And some of those podcast feeds do ask for ratings.
Yeah.
So if you can and you're willing to give us a rating, maybe it'll be a good one.
Yeah.
That definitely helps out our show as well.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that about does it for us today and for this week for the Scream 7 release week. We appreciate you being here for us and just always loving Scream and loving horror. We hope you come back again. We've got a few more interviews lined up that we're going to be doing in the next month or so.
And a couple more reviews.
Yeah. So I've got a couple I've got to put out that are backlogged, but hey, I'm getting to them. So
He's doing it.
yeah. All right, guys. Well, from the couple that slays together, I'm Brandon.
I'm Katie. Until next time, go enjoy your horror and your interviews.
We're the couple that slays together.